2023-2024 NBA season is just about wrapped up. I think we have like maybe 2 weeks left. I believe the last games are on the 14th of the regular season. So we're pretty much done with the regular season of the NBA. One thing that's been talked about quite a bit throughout the season has been the offensive explosion from both teams and individual players, in which we've seen a lot of great performances all year. And because we're just about done with the year, I want to give my take on who I think is going to be the All-NBA teams, but also just some of my general thoughts from this season, because it's been a pretty good year, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of By the Rim, your newest place for unbiased basketball content. Like always, I'm your host Collin, and I just want to share my experiences and share what I love the most, which is basketball, with you guys, and I hope you really enjoy it. I'm sorry there's been so much delay between the first video that I put out and this newest one. Over the last few months, there's been a couple of changes. I had some weird thing go on with the first footage I recorded from the last video I was going to do, but because ended up not being able to put it onto computer, it just didn't work out. But we're here now and we're ready to share the next video. So as you guys know, this year the All-NBA teams have been changed up from how it has been previously. So this year All-NBA is completely positionless, meaning that anybody can make the team regardless of position. Whereas in previous years and pretty much throughout all of NBA history, all NBA teams have been dependent on 2 guards, 2 forwards, and 1 center. The nice thing about that is that this year we can have anybody make the team, and it really just depends on who's been the best 5 players for each team versus best person at each of those positions. So for my first team, it's pretty easy. It's the 3 leading MVP candidates: Luka, Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, followed by Jason Tatum and Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's pretty easy. There wasn't really much discussion here. It was always going to be those 5, and that's what I have for the first team. My first selection is Nikola Jokic, like I said. Currently the MVP favorite. I think he's most likely going to win the award. He's currently leading the Nuggets to the number 2 seed at the time of this recording with a 53-23 record. He's put up a pretty standard Jokic season, averaging 26.5 points a game, 12.5 rebounds, 9 assists, a little bit under 1.5 steals, and just under a block on, get this, just about 58% from the field, only 34% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. Now at this point, we've come to expect this from Jokic. He's going to do this every year. He's not going to look like he's trying very hard. Jokic is doing his thing. He's the clear front runner for MVP right now, in my opinion. He's going to be the first person on my first team All-NBA. The second player I have on my All-NBA ballot is going to be Luka Doncic. He's been putting up an absolute monster season this year, statistically at the very least. Averaging about 33.9 points per game, 9.5 rebounds, almost 10 assists a game, and his efficiency this year has gone up from previous years. A steal and a half a block, shooting just under 49% from the field, 38% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line, which is a career high for him. One of the things that really sucks for Luka this year is the fact that his team isn't winning the way that you really want him to. Because if they were, let's say, a top 4 seed, he would easily be the MVP frontrunner. He's leading the league in scoring. He's almost averaging a triple-double at 25 years old, I believe. But the Mavericks are actually in the 5th seed. They have a 45-30 record. And a lot of that is going to have to do with Derek Lively II, who I will talk about when I put out my rookie report. But the Mavericks have been a little bit disappointing as a team. But Luka has been outstanding, and that's why he's going to be the second person on my first team All-NBA. My third person for my first team All-NBA is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's had an outstanding season this year as well. He started to slow down here towards the end of the season, a lot of that due to a quad injury that he sustained. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's averaging 30.3 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 6.3 assists. He's leading the league in steals at 2.1 steals a game and just under a block a game. Averaging a block a game as a guard is pretty wild. He's shooting incredibly efficient at 53.9% from the field, 36.5% from 3, shooting 87% from the free throw line, which is down from last year. Shai has a pretty solid case to be the MVP this year. He's led an OKC team that last year was in the play-in. They weren't even an actual playoff team. And they ended up missing the playoffs because they were eliminated by the Timberwolves. But over this course of this season, the OKC Thunder have boosted themselves from essentially a play-in team to now being in contention for the #1 seed in the Western Conference. That's really been a strong case for Shea as the MVP. That's why he's also going to be third on my first team All-NBA ballot. My next player is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's been having a ridiculous season this year. He's been going completely under the radar for some reason. He's not really in the MVP conversation because the Bucks have been a little bit disappointing, but Giannis himself is absolutely not the reason for that. On the season, he's averaging 30.7 points a game, 11.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.2 steals, and 1.1 blocks on 61.5% from the field, only 27.5% from three. He's also down on his free throws, shooting 65.7% from the free throw line. We knew Giannis wasn't going to be a great shooter, but he's shooting 60+% from the field as a 30-point per game scorer. I don't really know how to contextualize this to make people realize how absolutely ridiculous this is, but Giannis's individual season this year has been completely wild, and I mean, I don't really know what else to say about that other than he should be more in the conversation for the MVP. He's the fourth member of my first team All-NBA. The last person on my first team All-NBA is going to be Jason Tatum. It wasn't really much of a debate. I don't understand why people have been hating on him so much. I think I kind of understand because he's on the Celtics and people think that they're a super team, but they've been the best team in the NBA, bar none. Jason Tatum has been by far the best player on that team. He rightfully deserves a spot. On the season, he's averaging 27.2 points a game, 8.3 rebounds, almost 5 assists, a steal, and 0.6 blocks a game, while shooting 47.5% from the field, 38% from three, which is up from last year, and 83.5% from the free throw line. So Jason Tatum, he's having a good statistical season. He's leading the Celtics to the #1 seed in the NBA. He's been great. I don't really see any reason why he shouldn't be on the first team All-NBA. For my second team All-NBA, I'm going to open up with Jalen Brunson, who's been outstanding for the Knicks this year. I think it's really cool that a guy who was a second-round pick is now, at this point, an all-star. I'd say he's close to superstardom. I'm not going to put him there, but he's borderlining on that top 15-ish. And he's making an All-NBA team in his first All-Star season. So on the year, Jalen Brunson is averaging just under 28 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, just under a steal, and only 0.2 blocks. But he's shooting 47.5% from the field, just under 40% from three, and 84% from the free throw line. Jalen Brunson has been an offensive powerhouse this year, and he's been leading the Knicks to a top seed in the East. Currently neck and neck with the Orlando Magic for the 4th seed, but right now they're at 5th with a 44-31 record. They've been excellent. They're missing Julius Randle right now, but Jalen Brunson has really stepped up in his absence, and that's why he's going to be the first person on my second team All-NBA. The second person on my second team All-NBA is going to be Anthony Edwards. He's really earned it this year. He's led the Timberwolves to the #1 seed in the Western Conference through most of the season. He's upped his percentages, he's upped his points per game, rebounds a game, assists per game. He's up in everything this year. He's only 22 years old. He's definitely earned his spot. On the season, he's currently averaging 26 points per game, 5.5 rebounds a game, 5.1 assists a game, just under a steal and a half, and just over half a block on 46% from the field, 36% from three, and 83% from the free throw line. He's been great statistically. He's led the #1 team to the #1 seed in the Western Conference. He really has earned himself this spot on the second team All-NBA. Third person I'm going to put on my All-NBA team is going to be Kawhi Leonard, who's had a great season coming back from injury for the Clippers, who have been a top 4 seed for most of the season, which has been good to see considering they've been dealing with a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. But Kawhi Leonard has really been that guy for them. On the season, he's averaging 23.5 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, 3.6 assists a game, 1.5 steals, and just under a block on almost 50-40-90, shooting 52.5% from the field, 41.7% from three, and 88.5% from the free throw line. So Kawhi Leonard being back healthy, leading the Clippers to a top 4 seed in the West, almost shooting 50-40-90 for the season. He's got to be on my All-NBA ballot, and I'm having him on the second team. For the 4th spot on my second team All-NBA, I'm actually going to put Domantas Sabonis, who's had a really good year this year and led the Kings to an actual playoff spot, despite not even making the All-Star team. On the season, he's averaging just under 20 points a game, 13.5 rebounds a game, 8.5 assists, just under a steal, and 0.6 blocks per game. He's doing all this while shooting almost 60% from the field, 38% from three, while only on 1.5 shots a game, and 70% from the free throw line. Sabonis has been great for what's been a great offense, and the majority of their success has really been on the back of him and his great passing as a post-hub player. He's also improved defensively. I wouldn't say he's really a good defender, but he's definitely not a liability like he kind of used to be. And so that's why I have him as the fourth member of my All-NBA second team. The last spot I have on my second team All-NBA is going to be Kevin Durant. The Suns have been kind of disappointing. They've been just in and out of the play-in tournament, teetering between that 6th seed and the 7th seed, which with a team with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant, you want them to be better in the win column, but Kevin Durant himself has been outstanding this year. On the season, he's averaging 27.5 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, 5.2 assists, just under a steal, and 1.3 blocks per game, while shooting 53% from the field, 42% from 3, and 85% from the free throw line. Just like Kawhi, he's almost in that 50-40-90 club again, which is ridiculous, especially 6'11" or 7 foot, however tall KD is. He's been excellent offensively, and that's why I have him as the 5th member of my second team All-NBA. For my third team All-NBA, it's been a little bit tough to make cuts here. There's been a lot of really good guys who just aren't going to make it because, like I said, the positions are no longer a factor. And so a lot of things have to go into consideration when it comes to like team record and stuff like that. It's really hard for me to place these guys. And with that being said, my first player for my third team All-NBA is going to be LeBron James. Honestly, I wish I could have put LeBron higher. I wanted to put him in the second team because he's been excellent. He's averaging 25.5 points per game, 7.3 rebounds a game, 8.1 assists a game, 1.2 steals, and half a block, while shooting 53.5% from the field, 41.5% from 3, and 75% from the free throw line. LeBron is having a great shooting season, and you want to reward him for that because it is LeBron. But the Lakers are the 9th seed right now, and they're fighting to stay in the play-in race. I think they're not going to miss the play-in at least, but with Anthony Davis as your teammate and a cast that isn't bad, you want them to be higher up in those standings. But again, the West has been super competitive this year. LeBron has definitely earned himself a spot on the All-NBA team, but I can't move him any higher than third team. Second guy I have on the third team All-NBA is going to be Devin Booker. He's been really good this season. Statistically, he's made the transition from being a scoring guard to being more of the team's point guard now that Bradley Beal is there, and he's done a really good job of it. Like I said with KD, the Suns are only 6th seed, so I can't really have D-Book any higher than third team All-NBA. On the season, he's averaging 27.5 points a game, 4.7 rebounds, almost 7 assists a game, just under a steal and just under half a block, while shooting almost 50% from the field, 37.2% from the 3, and 88.3% from the free throw line. He's improved defensively. He improves every year defensively, which has been great to see. And being the team's point guard while having been a shooting guard for his entire career has been, a pretty good transition for him and earned himself a spot on the third team All-NBA. Third person on my third team All-NBA is going to be Jaylen Brown. He's been second fiddle to Jason Tatum on the best team in basketball by, again, a pretty wide margin. Jaylen Brown has been excellent this year on both ends of the floor. He's improved his left hand, which a lot of people wanted to get on him about. And it was really funny. I'm not going to deny that. On the season, he's averaging 23.2 points per game, 5.5 rebounds a game, 3.6 assists a game, 1.2 steals, half a block, and he's shooting 50% from the field, 36% from 3, and 70% from the free throw line. So his free throws aren't that great still, but he's been really good on both ends, like I said earlier. Celtics are the number 1 team in the league, so I have to give them a second All-NBA player, and of course it's going to be Jaylen Brown. Fourth player I have on my All-NBA team is going to be Tyrese Halliburton. He started off the season on fire. He was great through the first 3 or 4 months, I believe. But then after the All-Star break, that hamstring injury really held him back. Even still, he's leading the league in assists, and he's also taken this Pacer team from lottery team to being just about in the playoffs. They're right on the 7th seed, bordering with the Miami Heat. They're about a game back from them, I believe. On the season, Tyrese Halliburton is averaging 20.5 points per game, just under 4 rebounds a game. He's leading the league in assists with 11 assists a game, along with 1.2 steals a game, 0.7 blocks a game, which is pretty good. He's shooting 47.5% from the field, 37% from 3, and 86% from the free throw line. And that's with having a month with shooting 37% from the field and I think like 25% from 3 in the last month, which has been awful. So that's really tanked his numbers, and he's still shooting pretty well, which I think really is a nod to how good he was to start the season. And so that's why I'm going to keep him on my All-NBA team. And the hardest decision to make has been who's going to be the last person to make my All-NBA team. It's hard because there's a lot of guys who deserve it, just like every year. and you don't want to snub them, but at the end of the day, there's only 15 spots available, and somebody's not going to make the team. So that being said, the last person to make my All-NBA team is going to be Paul George. Like I said, with the Clippers and Kawhi, the team has been pretty injury-riddled throughout the last couple of seasons. Now that both PG and Kawhi have been healthy, it's been great to see them winning. And I really think they have a good chance to make a deep run in the playoffs this year. On the season, Paul George is averaging 22.6 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and half a block, while shooting 47.1% from the field, 41.3% from three, and 90.3% from the free throw line. Again, he's close, not all the way there, but pretty close to 50-40-90. Clippers have almost two 50-40-90 guys. They're a top 4 seed. I think I have to reward them and give them 2 All-NBA players. And so that's going to round out my All-NBA third team and my All-NBA list. Like I just talked about, there's going to be a lot of snubs, which it sucks to see. There's a lot of guys who really deserve it this year. Some examples being Steph Curry, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Davis, and I really even considered putting Victor Wembanyama on the list because of how dominant he's been defensively. That's not even including guys who didn't even qualify, like Joel Embiid, who would have been the runaway MVP, first team All-NBA, all-defense guy. He's leading the league in scoring, technically, in terms of points per game. Donovan Mitchell, who just missed the cutoff. Trae Young, who the Hawks have been disappointing, but he's been one of the assist leaders as well, while scoring 26 points per game. Julius Randle, who's been excellent, and a couple of other guys who didn't make the games played cutoff. This has been a really good year in terms of individual players, and it's been super competitive all season. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. We'll try and get on a more consistent upload schedule. I will have a couple more videos out ready soon. And again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.